goal when he goes out is, I'm trying to smash something tonight, then that's not the type of guy I'm talking about. Like, he more than likely has.
But I feel like that. I feel like that is I feel like there's more guys in that category than we want to give credit to. I don't want to say 50-50 or the majority, but
you think so? Okay.
I'm just saying, because women like, why does he cheat? It's like, girl, because that's what he does. It's like nothing about this guy has slowed down. And you're asking why he cheats, because he's a cheater. What up? It's Three Brothers No Sense. I'm Tavares Ferguson, aka Ferg, joined with my co-host Razi and Buff. Fellas, tell them what's on your minds.
I know his fans like to defend him at every turn and every corner, but Kanye West, or Ye, whatever he's calling himself these days, a lot of the things that he's been doing lately, I know we haven't really talked about much, but it's not cool. But he did recently have a documentary that dropped on Netflix. It's a 3-part series. I think it was very inspiring, very good. You definitely have to believe in yourself, and that was him. So I think for some people, they seem to only look at things one way. And like, he's a genius. That, by the way, that's the name of it, Jeen-yuhs. But, you know, people are so quick to call him a genius and excuse everything else. You can acknowledge that he's very talented in what he does in the music industry and how he was able to get a foothold in the fashion industry. Like, you know, for Yeezys to be as popular as they are now, I think most of the models are quite ugly, but, you know, to each his own. They sell out all the time. I think that's remarkable what he's done, and, you know, how he's become this highly paid, successful entertainer and fashion guy. On the other hand, some of the things I'm hearing he's doing as far as trying to force his wife to take him back, and the things he said.
Ex-wife now.
Ex-wife.
They're officially divorced.
Okay, yeah, okay, it's official now. Yeah, ex-wife, and, you know, the guy she's dating, the things he's been saying about her. It's, come on, man. Like, we can acknowledge someone is great and not necessarily excuse some of the BS that they're doing.
But Buff, you mean to tell me that dressing up like a bush in my ex's driveway is not a sign of love?
Okay. Did they confirm that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if they confirmed it. Full disclosure, I did laugh at that. I did laugh. And in real life, no, that's not funny. You know, if that was a female family member of mine who was having that done to her ex-husband, I would not rock with that. But just seeing that image on social media, that was funny. But I'm not excusing what he did. That if he did that wasn't cool. But I did laugh. Full disclosure. God's still working on me.
Yeah, it's stalking at its finest, yeah. Right? It's stalking with money. That's the difference, right? It's like, I can buy the house next to you so I can look at you all the time and see what you're doing. And legally, there's nothing anybody really can do about it, right? I can buy the house next to you. You can't really say anything about that.
She could do a restraining order, though.
She can't do it over like 150, 200 feet, which means that that's his property. So he still can buy that property next to her and use some binoculars and do whatever you want to do. So it's money buys you access and buys you power to do things like that. And then the whole him being a celebrity allows him to do these things, and people make a joke out of it, right? We snicker about it instead of looking at it from Kim's perspective. And a lot of times the Kardashians are trash, and so there's that as well, right? We really kind of don't care, unfortunately. So I think, man, it's really, really a bad situation for her and the kids. And yeah, Kanye personally, his personal life is trash. I mean, he's definitely a genius when it comes to what business side and what he's done on that. But yeah. I mean, when you think about it, and I think a lot of that is starting to come home, and people are starting to second guess that, because, you know, Donda 2 just dropped, but it's only doing it on the stem player. And so I don't know anybody personally who has heard Donda 2 because nobody's going to go and buy a stem player or pay for the stem service in order to be able to listen to it. So, you know, I understand he might be above or ahead of his time and everything like that, but he's basically saying, let's go back to CD and album sales, but we'll just do it with digital media instead of, with streaming services. We'll do it where you buy this stem player hardware and now you can listen to my music. There's no difference than a CD player, except for now I got to buy the CD player and the CD, and they're all combined together instead of just buying the CD. I don't get it. It's stupid, but it's him. His business, even with his clothes, man. I think he just went out on a limb, and just because he was such a big celebrity, it sold, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, apple bottoms weren't that great either, but they sold because Nelly was behind it. So I think people just kind of jumped on it.
I disagree. I did like seeing chicks in apple bottoms. I'm sorry, there's something about the little apple on the bottom that just did it.
Making the pocket smaller doesn't do a whole lot.
I'm just saying, bro. Tallahassee circa 2000, 2001, I'm assuming. Maybe you didn't have the scenery that I had, but apple bottom jeans.
Mobile had Bongo.
Goes with the first. Bongo was like 95, 96, right?
And then a local rapper shamed all the women into wearing them. They stopped wearing them.
Oh, Lord. Well, I don't want to get into the Kanye too much because I don't want it to become a full-fledged question because it's on the verge of doing that. But I always want to say the Kanye issue, the biggest thing about the Kanye issue for me is the fine line between mental health and maybe narcissism, which also can be a kind of form of, I guess, mental health, right?
Or even the line between that and like just believing in yourself, drive, perseverance, that type of thing.
I'm talking about when it comes to Kim. Mm-hmm. When it comes to Kim, it's the is he capable of discerning that line that he's crossing, or is he just a narcissist, which is highly likely, and he's kind of like, for me, there's no line. I'm Kanye. That's a whole nother. That's actually a good question for another day or whatever. So, what do you have for us, Razi?
Oh, the only thing I had, man, was Elden Ring. It's a new video game that dropped that is beautiful. All the gamers out there, if you like any type of video game, man, it is the best game that I've played in years. So it has like a fantasy element to it. It's a hack and slash, but the dynamics is super hard. You die a lot. So it's one of the Demon Souls, those types of games. But it is so good, man. I mean, every news outlet, rating channel out there is giving it a 10, and it's well worth it. So I'm about 20 hours into it already, and I'm probably less than 10% done with this game. That's how hard it is.
Where do you find the time, bro?
Once I put the kids to bed, it's like decide, do I want to play the game or sleep? And with my insomnia, it kind of comes in handy because I'll get up at 1 o'clock in the morning and play for 2 hours because I can't sleep anyway. So that's usually when I end up playing a lot. It's either that or I play on Facebook, but nobody wants to interact at 1 o'clock in the morning on Facebook. So PlayStation it is. The other thing that I had, man, is daddy-daughter dance and the mother-son dance happened for, my kids this weekend. I want to shout out to, the family. Nikki, you came through in the clutch. Haley, taking Ollie. It was huge where everybody just kind of came together, made it special for the kids. We had a really great time this weekend. I'm tired, boss. But at the same time, the kids really, really loved it. It was huge for them. And I want to shout out to the Deer Valley PTO because my PTO for the school, they don't name it the daddy-daughter and the mother-son dance anymore. And mainly because of folks like Oliver that can't bring their mom or whatever. They call it, glow with your guy and glimmer with your gal. And so, it's a way that no matter who brings the kid, it's all about the kid. And so it's just for time for them to go and have fun. And so, at the last night with the quote unquote mother-son dance or mother-daughter dance or father-daughter dance, there were a couple moms there with their daughters. and because that's all that they had that could bring them. But the daughter wanted to come, and there was no stigma behind it because of the renaming. So when you think about naming things and stuff like that, words matter, and that is a prime example of why words matter to those kids.
I would have loved to be at that PTO meeting when that was brought up, because maybe I'm just a pessimist. I just feel like there was so much pushback. There was some mom out there or some dad out there that's like, so now I can't be a dad anymore. We can't just have if that conversation did not come up at all, then I applaud that school, that district or whatever, because I just know people fight so hard for things to remain.
Is it PTO or PTA?
Ours is the PTO. I don't know. They call it the organization instead of association.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's parent-teacher organization, but yeah, it's the same thing. PTA, PTO. Yep.
Yeah, that's what the fancy people call it. But no, that was cool. I saw the post. It started with Ollie for me and Nikki's post, and it just reading it and seeing almost caught me. So I looked like he had a blast, and Sophie looked stunning. So I was just so happy that they got to enjoy that. I was going to speak on that, but I'm going to just make sure before we go too far that we take a second to say Happy Women's History Month. It's followed it follows Black History Month, and I don't know if a lot of people pay attention to that. Once again, it's almost like what we said last week. It's great that we have it. It's sad that we need it. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Yeah, so please feel free to share or send us posts of women that you would like for us to highlight as well. And we'll try to do the same over the course of the next month or so. But outside of that, the other stuff I have to say, I'll say at the end close. So Razi, Buff, who wants to kick it off? Oh, Razi, my bad.
No, it's cool. But no, I want to talk a little bit about Ukraine. I know we probably will get into it a little bit deeper. But people are like really going out and they're volunteering. There are a lot of veterans that are going over and fighting for Ukraine and everything. But I don't know if you guys saw that Justin Timberlake, he's going over to fight as well. No, why are you laughing, Ferg? Why are you laughing? Yeah, they're going to station him at the Crimea River.
I knew a joke was coming. I knew a joke was coming, man.
You know what, Razi?
I felt it.
I'll give you this. I saw it. I felt it. Yeah, but you're getting better at sliding them in.
Yeah.
Did you make that one up, or you saw that somewhere? That was a better one.
I saw it somewhere. I just saw it on the
So that was
hilarious.
I'm not mad. Hilarious might be a little too far, but I'm not mad. That was a good one.
Not bad, bro. You want me to go first, or you want?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you got it.
All right. Let me see how I want to phrase this. Basically, what I want to know from you two fellas is, because I actually have been in this situation before. Can you be so like Ferg? You and Razi are like best friends. That's no secret on this show. You guys are best friends. Could you be cool with somebody that Orazio is not cool with? Or, if your man, if Razi isn't cool with that person, then you're not gonna allow, or if you're already cool with that person, once you find out Razi isn't, you're gonna cut them off. How do you handle that situation?
You want to go first, Ferg? Because I'll jump in there.
Go ahead.
Actually, yeah, I definitely think I can. It depends on what they did, right, and why they aren't cool. And so I can't say it's a hard, fast yes or no to it, but generally, I will say, as long as there's nothing where they like really did my boy dirty type thing, then yeah, I can. But that's more of a knock on their character than it is to my homeboy, right? It's like, if I see you did my boy super dirty, knowing that that's my homeboy and we rock together, then I can't rock with you either. Because if you'll do that to him or whatever, I don't know if you do that to me or you do that to somebody else. So it's the knock on the character. So yes, I will judge that person based on that. But no, I mean, if If Ferg falls out with somebody that I'm close with or I grew up with, or whatever, I mean, I can still be cool with them. I mean, I just know how I have to play the situation, right? It may be some situations where I'm like, nah, me and Ferg going to hang out, so you probably don't need to come, right? Or I'm having an event and I know Ferg's going to be there. I'm going to warn Ferg and I'm going to warn him. I'm like, yo, I'm having this event. They're going to be there. What's the play? You know, yeah, are both of y'all comfortable being there in the same house together? Can y'all get along well enough to be at the same situation? Or it might be that I have to make a choice and I'm like, hey, other homie, you can't come because my best friend's coming. And there's hierarchy to this thing. And so best friend takes precedent. I'm sorry. So yeah, I mean, I could do that, but hopefully they would understand. And if they can't understand that, I've got to protect the peace that's going on around my event, then, you know, maybe we do end up kind of eventually separating or not being as close because I had to choose. But hopefully they understand and they like, yeah, bro, you got it. You know, I'll skip this one or whatever. I'll catch you on the next one or whatever. But I can be cool with it. It's just you got to move a little differently.
Yeah, so I'm the same way. So there's a couple of ways I look at it. First of all, I look at what would it take for me not to be friends with Razi, right? I'm thinking about like me, you know, nixing somebody else rather than me nixing Razi. Like it would have to be a hell of a lot. Like it would have to be like I would have to not know you anymore. Like you would have to be like have done something that was so just despicable that I'm just like I'm looking at you not because of this person, because of you as like you said, their character. Like, man, I can't believe you just did that. Like I can't rock with you anymore. So and vice versa with my friend. Like if the people I have a lot of associates, but if I include you in my friend circle and you did something so like Razi might not just like him and Buff just don't get along because he think, you know, Buff's bougie and all that stuff. Like my friends, I travel in multiple circles, you know, so some of my friends might be considered bougie. Some of my friends might be considered hood. And so they don't see eye to eye. And so they might not rock with each other. That doesn't affect me, like, because you move in different circles. But right. When it becomes something where it's like Razi doesn't mess with him because he did this. And it's like, he did what? That's different. And even then I have to kind of weigh it and then see how it plays out. Because I've been in situations recently where there was friends who could no longer get along. And they both went separate ways. And then once I saw it play out, I kind of had to make my decision on where my loyalty, not even where my loyalty lied, is like how I'm going to moving forward, like how I'm going to navigate this moving forward. I think that's the biggest thing. And you were talking about an event, Razi. If it's something I'm doing, I shouldn't have to, how did Lisa say, like, navigate your emotions? Like I shouldn't have to, if this is my birthday party and I can't enjoy my birthday party because I'm worried about Razi and Buff beefing, then I got a problem with Razi and Buff, right? Because if you're my friend, Razi doesn't have to be cool with Buff, Buff doesn't have to be cool with Razi. But if you're gonna come and spoil my event because you guys don't get along and you're supposed to be my homeboys, y'all don't have to rock with each other. Then I got a problem with both of y'all. It's just, you know, like, be a friend, you know, be my friend. You don't have to be each other's friend, be my friend. And my friend would not purposely sabotage or make me miss out on a celebration because of something you got going. That's why I can't stand these reality shows where it seems like every time you turn around, somebody's having some gala and it's like, well, you know, Angela's going to be here, so don't keep her away from Sean. And it's like, of course, when they say that, you know, Sean and Angela are going to meet eventually. And it's like, can we talk? And then all of a sudden it's like, you know, I didn't like that you wore the same dress I wore last week, you know, whatever the BS is. So,
I will say though, now, if the other person isn't my friend, then I'm rocking with my homie, and hey, you did to all of us. So there's also that.
Yeah, but I mean, see, you know, Razi's still cool with my ex. See, no loyalty.
Okay,
I'm just playing with him.
No, I asked this because I've seen this post on social media several times. Some variation of, if I don't rock with them and you, my friend, you shouldn't rock with them either. Things like that.
We're adults.
I'm like, really? Is it that simple? I think you guys both, knocked it out the park. Starting first with, it depends on what that person did. Like if it's something as simple as, I don't like such and such because, he's too silly, he goofy, man, whatever like that. Like he doesn't like his personality or whatever like that. Then no, I'm not going to stop being cool. That's something you don't like. That's your preference. So what I will do is be mindful. So when we have a gathering or a get together or out of town trip, I may invite one and not the other, depending on how big the issue is. And that's just how I do it, even when both people are not my friends. Like I have coworkers that don't get along with other coworkers, but like I'm cool with both. You know what I mean? So if I decide to hang out, I know not to invite one and vice versa. So I think it just depends on what's done versus, like
how do you determine who to invite?
I think people have different like for instance, I have a group of friends that they just simply like just sitting around having a few drinks, laughing, joking, whatever like that. And then another group, they're not really drinkers, but they'll go to an event like a concert. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Erykah Badu is performing here. Y'all want to get tickets to that? Yeah, cool. Versus the other group, they're not really into that. So if I'm having like a football party at the house where we're just going to be drinking, watching TV, laughing, making jokes, then I know to invite them. So you just got to kind of know the two groups of people, or you can kind of like do it every other time. Like I invited them this time. Now it's time to invite them.
So the reason I ask is because I think we're at that age, and where I see it playing out more so is we're at that age where we're seeing a lot of divorces, right?
Yeah.
And so it's, Z might have befriended the wife. I befriended the husband. We're all cool together, but now we're having Sky's birthday party, or we're having an event. We're having my birthday party or whatever. Or maybe, I guess it might be a birthday party is good. So if it's my birthday party, maybe we'll invite the guy, right? If it's her birthday party and she's closer to the wife, then we'll invite the wife, but that is a situation we're seeing more where, and then it gets to the point where neither one comes because, of the situation, but making it, I guess, we were talking about the two beefing. I think it also is the people around us. Who's going to feel more uncomfortable if it's Z's birthday party and we invite the husband and not the wife? And it's kind of like, well, damn, they invited this person and not that person. That's Ferg's homeboy.
Think about my situation where Jen's sister was married to my line brother.
Mm-hmm.
So they have kids together. And so they are like true nephews, nieces, cousins, right? And so birthday parties, Thanksgivings, things like that, you invite the kids. And so now you got these divorcees that have to come and co-parent and be in the same room and stuff like that for about a year or two. It was awkward. It was really awkward.
But it shouldn't be up to you guys. Like, why are we
having to choose and pick and navigate that? So yeah, truthfully, we chose not to. And we were like, Thanksgiving's at the house, so whatever happens.
And for the most part, people our age, they know how to act. Like, even if they don't rock with a certain person, as long as they haven't done anything to where it makes it on-site worthy, you know what I mean? They should be able to come and just keep their distance from that person and things like that.
So, and I think that's like going back to the whole, like, what did they do? If it's on-site worthy, I'm probably picking a side. Like, at that point, you did something that's like, that's bad enough that I can't rock with you either because it's on-site worthy. Like,
because I just think about, like, we're at that age, like, I think about Insecure, one of the last episodes where they had the going away party and Issa brought her boyfriend.
Oh yeah,
buddy. Yeah. Brought his
baby mama, wife,
his baby mama, and all this stuff, and it's kind of like it was already awkward. But imagine if one shows up solo, and then it's like, oh, he had the nerve to bring her. He knew that I was gonna be here, and it's just like, man.
But a little bit of that is that's what makes life fun. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, you silly.
A little bit of that drama.
Yeah, but I do want to make it known though, like you, Sherman, Ferg, Wendell, you guys are like y'all are my brothers. It's beyond boys. So if some associate or something that you have an issue with, if it come down to it, of course I'm rocking with y'all. But if it's nothing that big, like you like, man, you know, he talks too much or something like that, then I'll still be cool with them. You know what I mean? But just want to put that out there.
Well, we all know Sherman's answer, so.
That's when I said I've been in that situation before.
We all know Sherman's
answer. He had a. Never mind. Okay,
he's all or nothing. That's one person you never need to question where his loyalties lie or what his opinion is, because he's going to tell you up front.
He's a lot more calm now, man. He's a lot.
I'm not saying he's not calm.
But he's still very binary though. He's calm about it, but it's still like, It's like, oh, Byron don't rock with you, then I don't rock with you. I don't care. Like,
All right, Razi, what you got for us?
So I want to talk to the women today. It's Women's History Month, and so I want to ask you fellas, why y'all cheat so much? So. Not you two in general, men in general. I want to ask, why do men cheat? Like what? And so we have to talk for the men today. We're gonna explain to women why men cheat.
There's a couple of answers. I wish it was simple. The easiest answer is
selfishness,
because we want to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like I go back to when I wasn't with Z, and I just was not. I cheated because I wanted to. You know, it was just that simple. I wasn't mature enough. I didn't have enough. I wasn't committed enough. To me, the woman was not worth not cheating on. I just not like, and I'm not gonna say I was just like cheating out there like blatantly or whatever the case may be. It's just certain opportunities. I just decided that this situation, well, the end result or the cheating was worth, you know, whatever came with it. But I think there's levels to it. So when you get that guy who wants to be committed and truly wants to be faithful, I think that's what we need to talk about, because up until, you know, my last relationship, I was young and I just didn't care. That's what we did. 27 years old. I'm about to get married. Why would I be faithful to this one person? But when I decided to be faithful, that became the challenge. Like, how do you not cheat? And I think for me, even when I wanted to be faithful in the past, it was insecurities. It was a lot. It was insecurities. It was just, and not that I didn't think I was good enough, but it was, if I felt I wasn't getting what I wanted from you in that time, and I made it about me, because it's always about me. It's always about us, right? You know, let's be honest. It's always about us. Then I had to find somebody who was going to give me what my girlfriend wasn't at the time. So if you weren't giving me enough attention because you got to study for a final or something, you know.
Priorities here, right?
Yeah, you know, then I'm going to find somebody who going to choose me at that point in time. Another sad reason is because we can. I mean, it's, I feel like a lot, from what I've seen, a lot of women kind of expect guys to cheat and they take them back. And, you know, I've been with women that I'm cheating with you, but you want to be in a full relationship with me. Why?
Right.
Why? I'm trash.
Because you won't do it to me.
So if you see that that's what I bring to the table, and I'm not faulting you, I'm just saying this is going back to men, but it's like, we can. And then at the end of the day, I might lose this girlfriend of mine, but the next woman is going to take me and I can do it all over again. She might have high standards and like, you're not going to cheat on me, and we break up, but then I'm in another relationship soon and she's going to deal with it. Guys we do stuff because we know we can get away with it. And I always hate to say it like this. It's the power lies with the women. We're gonna push the envelope. As long as you allow us to get away with it, as long as you allow us to be creeps. Guys, there's no incentive for us to be better. And it's sad. And it's very immature. It's disappointing. But at the same time, why the hell not? Why be better? There until you find the right one, for most men, there's no incentive to be better. I think about every relationship I had prior to my wife. And I'll say the relationship I had prior to my wife. I'm not gonna say every one. And if I cheated on that person, I felt bad, but there was no incentive to be better. There's no incentive to be better than what I was. And I don't think I was a bad boyfriend. And that's the thing. I wasn't a bad boyfriend. Some might disagree. Hold your tongue. But at the same time, it happened.
Yeah.
Buff, what you got?
I got so many comedian jokes running through my head on this question.
Oh, run them out.
Oh, just, like when Chris Rock said,
I knew you was going to open with Chris Rock.
We can't run fast enough. Oh, it got me. I got to cheat. First off, I said this before. So for new listeners, especially on Inspire You On Air, for new listeners, it may be a bit of a shock, but I don't think monogamy is natural. That's first and foremost. It's not natural. And it takes work at being faithful and committed to one person for the rest of your life. But I think the main two reasons that guys cheat are selfishness and greed. It's human nature. It's human nature to finally get your dream car. As soon as you get your dream car, you see another one that you wouldn't mind having one day. You get your dream house and it's like, hey man, I wouldn't mind living in a high-rise condo with an ocean view. It's like once you attain that woman that you want to spend the rest of your life with, or the woman, you don't have to go as far as marriage, just the woman that you want to be faithful and serious with, you will have every intention to do that. And then you see that fat ass walk by and it's like, damn, I can get that too. And, guys don't think they're going to get caught. So they feel like, I think Ferg, you kind of mentioned this in your answer, they can get away with it. Like, I can go and get one off with shorty. No harm, no foul, and I'm satisfying myself. So that's why I call it, greed and selfishness, because it's just human nature to always want more. And for guys, I don't want to speak for every guy, but I just think in general for guys, they can be, in their mind, they can be perfectly happy at home, but see something out there. And once she shows equivalent interest, and you feel like you can get away with it, you're going to do it without thinking about the consequences. Ferg, we talked about this several episodes ago, but like how cheating affects the whole family. It's major fallout, especially if you're married with kids and you're in the type of family where you guys always get together and spend time with one another. It's major fallout behind that. So I think guys don't really give the consequences that full thought like they should, because if they did, I think it would stop most guys from doing it. But I think what they do is they see what they like. It's attractive to them. And I shouldn't say it. They see the woman they like. She's attractive to them. And he feels like he can have them.
She really doesn't even have to be all that attractive either.
Yeah, that's
so
convenient. Convenient.
Do you believe there's two? I don't want to make it this simple. There's two buckets you can put the guys in to make it. It's guys that like that. If they went out tonight, their goal is to get another woman, marry. Like their goal, like they do not care about cheating. But then there's guys that their intent is not to go out and cheat. But like you said, if things line up,
right,
most of them are going.
I feel like it is not absolute, obviously, but I feel like that first guy you mentioned, Ferg, he's shown some red flags along the way that definitely. He's probably not going to be the most, like if his goal, like once he gets married, if his goal when he goes out is, I'm trying to smash something tonight, then that's not the type of guy I'm talking about. Like he more than likely has.
But I feel like that. I feel like that is a. I feel like there's more guys in that category than we want to give credit to. I don't want to say 50-50 or the majority, but
you think so? Okay.
I'm just saying, because women like, why does he cheat? It's like, girl, because that's what he does. It's like nothing about this guy has slowed down. And you're asking why he cheat because he's a cheater. Like that's what he does. He's never stopped cheating. He's going out tonight to cheat. So you're trying to question, somebody for doing what they do rather than, that guy that, like you said, there's guys that, they go out and their intention is to, I guess, be good. And then things line up and it doesn't take much for them to readjust.
And I said selfishness and greed. Like obviously those aren't like the only two reasons, and it can get more nuanced once you look into it in each individual occasion. But I think those are like the main two. But then it could be some of the things you talked about, Ferg. Like maybe he feels like he's not getting the attention that he wants at home, or his wife doesn't appreciate him. He works and like he doesn't get any type of appreciation whatsoever. And he meets this woman that does give him this appreciation, like recognizes what he does, like, wow, you're a great guy, like whatever it is that he wants to hear that he's not hearing at home.
So I'll and I think we talked about this before. So Z and I've had this conversation, and I know we're going to get a lot of flack for this one. Is one of my biggest reasons for that second group of guys that I think want to do the right thing is when I was single, it was the thrill of the hunt and the conquest, right? It's like, if I know I can go out and get at you, like I gotta know if I still got it. And for a lot of guys, we don't get that automatically. And I tell Z all the time, if Z gets dressed up and goes out tonight, when they go out in Vegas, guys are going to shoot their shots. They're not with us, guys are going to shoot their shots because they're attractive women. I'm talking about all three of them, right? They're attractive women. So guys are going to shoot their shots. Someone's going to try to buy them a drink. They're going to do all that stuff. And they're going to turn them down, of course. But at part of them, it's that idea of knowing that I still got it. I'm still sought after. For most guys, unless you're buff, we don't get that. I'm going to walk out and chicks come like, oh, let me buy you a drink. Let me do this stuff like that.
That is not true.
No, they don't say that to me. Are you saying they say that to me, or are you talking about you? You not
talking about me? Yeah.
No. We all know that's true.
No, yeah, absolutely.
They make Tyler. You are the basis for the Tyler Perry movies.
Way more popular than me in high school, bro. Cut it out.
We're talking about 20 something years ago, bro. We're talking about the 90s.
Let's go.
But what it came down to is, for a lot of guys, it's the thrill of the hunt. And so I told Z when we were early in our relationship, I think for me, I've always been very flirtatious. But I was never pressed for women because I did have a girlfriend most of the time. And so my thing is, I wasn't actively wanting to cheat on my girlfriend. If things lined up, then, I might take advantage of the situation. But I wasn't pressed like some of my homeboys were, like they had to get a different chick every, we're going to the club. They got to come home with something. But for me to know I still had it. And to this day, I think everybody wants to know they still got it. Call it what you will, insecurity, immaturity, whatever it is, it's still that. So I told Z, I want to know I still got it. And so let's say we all went out tonight and we were just sitting at the bar and talking, there was a group of young ladies by us, I'm probably going to strike up a conversation. And I'm not going to try to go home with anybody. I'm not trying to sleep with anybody. But I want to know that they still kind of feel my energy. That Ferg still has it. They're feeling the photo. That's what I call it. And so Z knows about this. And I told her that. And so it gets to the point where, let's say we're going out for Razi's birthday and that's happening. And there's one or two young ladies who are kind of feeling the photo. I'm texting her like, they feeling the photo. Like, she knows it. And she's like, okay, you've been working out, or you got your haircut, or you got the new, I told your outfit was good. Like, she knows that I'm not hiding it. It's just that little check of the box that I needed to know I still got it. She's not the only person in the world that finds me attractive. I mean, maybe I'm not there yet. We always say, he ain't done with me yet. Maybe I'm not there yet. My wife is the only person that needs to be attracted to me, but I don't want her to be the only person that is attracted to me. That's kind of depressing. Like, bro, if it don't work out with you and Tabitha, that's it. It's over. Nobody else wants you, but to know that you still got it. And it sounds, nobody wants to hear that, but I think that's where a lot of guys get it. They want to know they still got it, but they don't know how to stop it. they're gonna like, I still got it, and they're gonna keep going. And for me, I'll be at the club and bruhs be talking to me and my friends be talking like, dude, she feeling like, yeah, I never take my wedding ring off. My wife and kids are my screensaver for my phone. There's no hiding that I'm married. And I'll just get up and leave. I've literally had people text me like, dog, old girl is looking for you. Like, dude, I'm on the way home to my wife. And I'm done. Because for one, I've texted my wife, let her know that I'm flirting, you know. By the way, Tab is going to cuss me out about this episode. I already know she gonna have a field day.
Like we said, do what work for your relationship.
Yeah, no, yeah. But just for me, because I've always been a flirtatious person, I'm texting my wife. I never go dark more than a couple of minutes. You know, like I can't text my wife like this. Oh, she's feeling a faux dog and show up 5 hours later. Like, what happened? You know, so it's always open communication, everything like that. You know, is she cute? Like, she's definitely not as cute as you, you know, but we have full communication about it. So that's my answer.
It's no different than like going to the strip club or whatever. She knows what's happening at the strip club when you and your homeboys go to the strip club. I mean, you just have to have that trust, right? But I think you guys hit on a lot of different ones, right? The thrill of the hunt is definitely there. That's how I ended up with those navy blue breads or those navy blue J's, right? It's like it was the hunt. I just wanted them because I felt people was gonna want them, and I bid on them, and they ended up getting them. And it's like, I ain't want these. So, you know, that's a little bit of it. It's definitely there. The thrill of the hunt. Can I get them? And once you got them, sometimes you just got to follow through, or guys have to follow through, right? And so a lot of times that's how they end up cheating. Like you said, didn't really go out looking for somebody, and I wasn't intended on cheating, but ended up cheating because I flirted. She came back. She said yes. And then a lot of times what ends up happening is the woman kind of introduces that part of it. Like, oh, let's get out of here. Let's do this. And so then it's like, oh, okay. And then guys end up cheating. So there's that.
So women make guys cheat?
I think no. We're talking about these guys that you talked about that didn't really intend to cheat.
So the bucket
when they
two.
left, you know, the bucket two guys, like those guys. So, but I think a lot of it, Buff, you talked about selfishness, but I look at it as a lack of self-control, right? Those same guys that get credit cards and run them up because they can't control their spending, it's the same guys that's going to go out and they can't control themselves because they find somebody else attractive and they can't control themselves not to cheat, or they can't not, you know, go when that girl does say, well, let's get out of here. They can't say, no, I'm married. I'm gonna head out. They can't do what you do, Ferg, right? They can't flirt to the line and then be like, nope, we're done here because I'm not passing the line, right?
Yeah, I don't even go to the line. I just kind of step up and walk around. And
but still,
I got one more because I think it's the storytelling. Like, guys, we're big kids. It's for whatever reason there's a sense of accomplishment no matter what the surrounding factors are. Yeah. If you get a new chick, and especially if she's bad.
It's encouraged from a young age too. How many girlfriends you got? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So dog, what happened with you and old girl with the apple bottoms from the club? And it's gonna be like, yeah. And it's for whatever reason, guys accept it. It's the bragging that it's.
Yeah. Oh, no, I know what it was. It was the lack of fear of losing her. Like, Ferg, you talked about, you know, if I cheated and got caught, man, right? I'd move on to the next one. Maybe you're not cool with cheating, but there's plenty more out there, right? So there's that lack of, oh my God, if I do this, I will lose her. And if I lose her, my world will end. I don't want to lose her, right? So there's, if you don't have that in the back of your head playing the entire time you're interacting with this other lady, then, you know, you one, probably aren't ready to really be in a committed relationship with that person, right? Mm-hmm. Because you don't fear losing them. There's no reason for you to be like, I don't want to lose this person, so I'm going to go out and do whatever I want to do. So I think that is a lot of why men cheat, is because they don't fear losing that other woman, the woman that they're in a relationship with. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter to them.
That's huge. And I don't think we know it until we know it, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's, you know, ladies, what are you doing? We always talk about what guys are looking for, right? What are you doing to fill the gaps, and what are you doing to really give the guy what they want and what they need? Which is why we talk about, you know, your financial success and your success at the job and all that stuff really doesn't matter. Guys will cheat on you no matter how successful you are and all that stuff, because they don't fear losing that, because that's not what they were looking for anyway. So filling in those gaps of what that guy needs is how you keep your man. That's how he doesn't cheat for the most part.
Well, let's not put it on the women, right?
I'm just saying. I'm like. That's the thing, though. It's like if you're not filling a gap for him, and you said it right. If you're not filling that gap, if you're not giving him what he feels he needs at the time, then he doesn't fear losing you, because he can go find somebody else that will give that to him.
Now, look, the thing about it is the things that whoever I was with at the time wasn't giving me were things I made up in my head. It was all insecurities. It was all whatever. So it wasn't that they weren't, or she wasn't a good woman. It was just, I didn't appreciate the things when I felt like I needed, you know, I wanted to come see you and you were too busy to see me. Well, I know somebody else that want to see me then, you know, it was more on that line. So women, it's not necessarily what you're not doing. It's just sometimes he doesn't appreciate it the way you think he should.
Yeah, what you are doing isn't the thing that he wants to. He needs. Yeah,
to we just don't appreciate you. Just like growing up, you don't appreciate things growing up until they're gone. And what you about to say, Buff? I feel like you about to.
I was gonna say, I think the women would retort with, if they're not filling in that gap that man needs, or if he doesn't fear losing her, then why not break up with her instead of going out cheating on her?
Because he can. I get what you're saying. That's a problem. It's like,
yeah, but she's filling it, and she's filling in some gaps.
Yeah,
so it's not like 97. Why would I break up for you? Break up with you that's filling 80% of the gap, and now I gotta I can go cheat and fill the other 20%. Why would I break up with you? Now I gotta fill 100%. Because I got a whole bunch of other stuff to fill.
Or you could be free and go try to find that 100%.
No, but I like you. But I think a lot of times it's for me, I didn't know it could be better than what it was, right? I didn't know that there was a woman out there that I could truly want to 100% be faithful to and committed to. I always say that I've never had a bad girlfriend. So for the time I was with her was in my mind as good as it could get. And so why leave this if it doesn't get any better than this? For one, it was maturity or immaturity, whatever it was, but it was the same reason people don't leave their job as soon as their manager pisses them off. It fills majority of the gaps. Would I like to make more money? Yes. Would I like to work better hours? Yes. Would I like to be easier? Yes. But at the end of the day, I like my job. It does what it's supposed to do. And I'm cool with it.
I think the ladies really wanted our answer to be because men ain't ish.
Oh no, that's part of it. I think I started off with that, right? Like
that's the answer they wanted.
Yeah.
There's plenty of guys out there that.
That's what I said. That's that first bucket, and I don't know what number we put that in, but I think there's guys out here that really want to do the right thing, and for one, sometimes I don't think we know how.
Well, sure. Yeah.
We just don't know how to be better versions. We don't see it enough. It's not enough positivity around that, you know, we don't go have like, let's be faithful to our wives meeting. Like, that's not really a thing. You know, there's more telling us to not be this guy than it is to tell us to be the good guy. And so if you're not ready or with the right person, because I think being with the right person is the thing that makes you want to commit. I've always been me. What's the difference? It was her. Ladies, it's not a knock on you. It's just he probably wasn't the right person for you, and you probably weren't the right person for him if he was in that second bucket. All right. Anything else, Buff? I feel like you still want to take up for the ladies. Come on.
No. Go ahead.
Because I mean, I understand their frustration. I would say dudes ain't like, you're making all these excuses. I'm like, you can call it what you will. I'm telling you, when I talk to guys, their thought processes.
Right.
I've literally had a guy say, I want to be a better person. I just can't do it for her.
I will tell you what's outdated too. The whole guys go out and cheat and they can do it because they don't really care. I've seen plenty of brothers that care just as much about their side chick as their main chick. Like they get all in their feelings about them. And the whole women only do it, when they feel like their husband doesn't love them. Like there are some women that just want to sit on some other meat. So the original old way of thinking is gone. Like people do it for whatever reasons now, men and women.
Yeah.
Yep.
So women cheat for the same reasons?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I'm not asking women to cheat. I'm saying they cheat for the same reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's basically the same.
Okay.
That just like we said, it's she's not getting some from the guy. He's not filling the gap, or she just wants some other meat. Or the thrill of the hunt, that she still have it. You know what I mean? It's the same reasons. I think people try to bucket it into men versus women when really it's the same psychological and emotional triggers that are causing people to cheat.
Yeah.
I think that's going to get the pushback.
That's fine.
That's the pushback right there.
That's fine.
Yeah. What you got, Ferg?
I don't have anything right now because we're pushing up on that hour mark, and I don't want to go too far. I will briefly talk about Ukraine, though. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on what stands out the most for Ukraine for you guys about Ukraine?
Even in war, people find a way to be racist.
Elaborate.
I mean, I see Ukraine getting a whole lot of support. And the racism I'm speaking of is not even just in Ukraine, because I know a lot of people are speaking on how Africans there are being left behind. Some Africans are being asked to fight for Ukraine and things like that. But I'm talking about these other countries that are welcoming, people from Ukraine in their country, which is great. That's great. But they were a little more hesitant when it was people from Syria. They were a little more hesitant when it's tan, brown, and black people. And I believe it was like the leader of, was it Poland or someone that said, well, these people are educated and clean and European. So these are the type of refugees we're used to. So just even in war, when something incredibly terrible is going on, we always find a way to be racist.
I mean, even over here to a certain extent, where you hear blacks over here almost shunning other blacks for caring about what's going on in Ukraine.
Yeah, we always,
that's weird.
It's a weird flex of like we can't care about multiple things at the same time. I just don't get it. Like, yes, I care about Ukraine and I care about the Middle East and I care about Africa and countries in Africa.
You didn't care about
I
Haiti
care about
when they were.
I did, and that's the thing.
That's their newest thing. You didn't care about Haiti.
Yeah.
That could be a Disney song.
We don't care about Haiti. No. But yeah, it's definitely a weird flex, man. I think why Ukraine's getting so much attention is two things, right? One is it's not a lot of infighting where one country, it really doesn't matter if the other country takes over that country. And so, that's what happens a lot with the African nations and things like that. It's, an insurgency trying to take over, or it's war torn inside of the country or whatever. Or even if it is one country trying to take over another, it doesn't shift political power on the worldwide or global scale like Russia taking over Ukraine, right? That is return to the USSR, the whole Cold War. People are worried about that. So geopolitically, Russia taking Ukraine is a bigger deal, and we have to understand that. So you can't compare an internal fight for an African nation with Russia taking over a sovereign nation, right? Those are two different things on a geopolitical scale.
That's the clarity. Is people want to make it all one thing.
Right.
It's the humanitarian part of it, and it's the geopolitical part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the geopolitical part for these black and brown countries, for the most part, aren't as polarizing as they are for one of the largest powers in the world, Russia, trying to gain more ground.
Right.
That's huge. They're one of the superpowers of the world.
Right. It's so funny how like this works. The UN tried to sanction Russia doing it, and Russia vetoed the sanction at the UN because they have veto power at the UN. How can you vote to veto the thing that's sanctioning you?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you recuse yourself at that point?
I think for me, I think the EU kind of stepping up and doing the sanctions, which is huge. The fact that I don't know if they're looking within and saying, hey, we're part of the reason Russia can do all this is because we're so intertwined within Russia, or they're so intertwined within our politics and our way of life that we've allowed them to get away with so much because we just didn't want to piss them off.
Because we wanted their oil.
Yeah, because we wanted their oil. And they're out of the blue, not out of the blue, but the sanctions they're doing, they can be huge on a geopolitical side, but I don't think Putin's stopping anytime soon. Putin's
not, but what happens though, and let's be honest here, Russia's going to take Ukraine. They're going to win, right? Eventually they're going to win. But I think what happens is this is the reason, and this is the main reason why Putin said that the sanctions that everybody putting on him is almost like a declaration of war, is because those sanctions are going to stay on as long as he holds Ukraine. And so I think it was a really easy way for the world powers to be able to kind of do something to Russia. This was the kind of popping off point for them to be able to do it. And so Russia is going to be crippled for a long time after this. That's my take on it. I know when they took Crimea, we did a little bit of sanctions and then it kind of went away. But now I think the world's really kind of holding him accountable for this one. And so the ruple's already crashed 30%. They had to close their stock market. They're cutting off a lot of inflow. They took them off of SWIFT. So that means no money's coming back in to Russia from any other country. There are a lot of countries that are talking about divesting that oil from Russia. I mean, it's going to take time, right? You can't just all of a sudden be like, hey, Nicaragua, send me oil now. So there's going to have to be take time for that. But there's a lot of countries that are shifting away from Russia. And so that's going to hurt them in the long run. So I do think this is kind of the fall of it. But the way we fight wars is just different now. People try to think, and they want to think a traditional, force on force war. And it's not like that. Right now, how we fight wars is economically and cyber. Those are the two ways that we fight war. Really, especially when you talk about superpowers like this. So don't think for a second that we're about to send troops into Ukraine. We're going to do a no-fly zone. We're not going to do anything to provoke them into being able to attack us. What we're going to do is what we're doing with sanctions and everything else. And also, a lot of people give Biden a hard time, but Biden, I feel like, has done a really good job of navigating this, where he did things like use the intelligence briefings to say Russia's about to attack Ukraine. And that was like a month or two before he actually attacked. So there was no way for Russia to be able to spin it and say they were attacking because of something else or whatever. Biden put them on blast for that. He gave them a bunch of aid in Ukraine. We've been training Ukraine forever.
Since 2014.
Yeah. So like the things that we've been doing, and then we go back to what Donald Trump did. Donald Trump actually pulled his platform. The one thing that he had to put in his platform was that we're going to take away our funding for Ukraine's weapons. So that was the only thing that he wanted in the Republican platform. And so he has been kind of setting it up. Don't forget that the reason why Trump was impeached is because he tried to take twice. The second time. No, the first time.
That's right.
The first time. Is that he was trying to blackmail Ukraine. He withheld money from them so that they can do some stuff for Russia. So this was already being set up.
He's still Putin's boy. He's still Putin's boy. But like his administration set this up to happen. Biden's done a pretty good job. I mean, other than putting boots on ground, I don't think there's much more that he could have done for this. And that's one that I think the pundits are trying to kind of force his hand to do. But that's all politics, right? They just want to find something to make people mad at him. But I just want to put that out there and set the record straight that I think what he's done has been smart and it's the right thing for what we can do to another superpower. So we will continue to fund and help Ukraine covertly, similar to what they did in Afghanistan against the Russians 30 years ago, 40 years ago. And I think the rest of the EU is going to do that. So Russia, this whole thing is going to be going on for a while. I foresee this being small military guerrilla pockets attacking Russia for the foreseeable future. It's going to take years for Russia to have a true.
It's going to be ISIS. It's going to be ISIS and Al Qaeda, right? I mean, the Crimean people are going to, or Ukrainian people are going to kind of retreat into it once Russia actually holds Ukraine, and then they're going to have these pockets, like you said, of resistance where there's going to be constant like harassing of their forces. And so I think that's going to be, they just walked into an Iraq or an Afghanistan. It's going to be almost that same kind of warfare for the next, like you said, foreseeable 5-10 years. Easy.
All right, fellas, let's go ahead and close it out though.
Free Brittany Griner, by the way. I was going to talk about white privilege, and part of it was going to be on what's going on in Ukraine. So I got that out the way. But there's another show on Netflix called Worst Roommate Ever. So if you're into like, I guess like true crime type things, it's a good documentary. But the very first story, spoiler alert, by the way, spoiler alert. If you plan on watching it, turn away or mute for a minute. But there, Ferg snatched his earphones off. No, I'm just going to say this. I'll say as little as possible. There is a scenario, right, where this woman who has a history of poisoning people, making them pass out, and stealing from them and things like that. She's been drugging people for years. Neighbors complained of her digging a bunch of holes in her backyard, and one of the people that she has staying in her house is now missing. The police go, they investigate her, and she's like, no. They find a body in the backyard. This white woman says, man, this is all making me very nervous. Do you mind if I go get a cup of coffee around the corner? And they let her go do it.
Yeah. Yeah. What did the detective say? I didn't have anything to charge her on. I couldn't hold her.
Okay. I'm like, yo, like if my neighbors complain on my black ass that I've been digging holes in the backyard and I got a history of drugging people and you find a body in my backyard. And
she's a felon on release, right?
Yes.
She ran a brothel and was a prostitute.
There's no way I can say, you mind if I go get a Java chip Frappuccino up at Starbucks real quick? Yeah, go ahead, B. Go ahead. Nah, hey, dog, no, you about to get arrested. So
you are at least detained.
So exactly, yes. Like, so that was just, one of those many ways that white privilege works against law enforcement. So that's all I want to say. Come on back, Ferg.
Man, yeah, I watched that. That's the only episode I've watched of the documentary yet. Yeah. But man, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So all I got, man, is you guys know March 3rd marked the 2-year anniversary of us losing Jen. And I stayed away from social media on the 3rd. And I want to tell everybody I appreciate everybody that called, checked in on me, everything. The thing that struck home for me the most was Jacelyn being really, really supportive and like, hey, I got you. I'm here for you. I know it's a hard time for you. And so, babe, I really appreciate that. And so I stayed away from like the Facebook memories and everything on the 3rd. I didn't think about yesterday was when the news broke. And so the 5th was when, we put it up on social media and everything. And so I went to Facebook memories yesterday. And man, when I say I like choked up, but it was this thing where the outpouring of support and the memories that people were sharing on the 5th was so beautiful. It was hard to read them or whatever. And like it broke my heart. It was weird. I was at the UAB basketball game. And so I had to like take a deep breath because I couldn't break down right there. But at the same time, it was like crazy. I just want to say, man, the people who wrote things that day, last year on that day, I guess as their memories started like popping up and they kind of shared it and said stuff. It was beautiful, man. So I want to just say I appreciate everybody who supported me, supported her, loved her. Just keep doing that. Keep doing that. I want to remind everybody that we did create the scholarship, Jennica Kimberly Memorial Scholarship at University of Alabama. I want to remind everybody, if you want to continue her legacy, please go out, donate to that. We're right up at about $70,000 in the endowment right now. And that's before any matching that the alumni does with it. So please go out. We want to try to make it or increase it by about $10,000 this year. We're right at about $9,300. So please go out, do that. Go to University of Alabama /alumni, and then you can donate to the scholarship there. And we'll put the link in the show notes as well. But again, thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Razi. I try to stay away from Facebook that day as well. Going off of March 3rd. So as you guys know, I lost a loved one this week as well. My grandmother, Pinky Carter, passed Thursday morning, and kind of hit me hard. But the good thing was I was able to do a turnaround trip to Mobile. So I got the news Tuesday night that she was doing really bad. She was unresponsive but breathing. And they said if she made it through the night that she might have a few more days. So when I found out she made it through the night, I got on the road Wednesday afternoon, drove down. I got down there about 8:30, 9 o'clock and got to spend a little time with her. Got to hold her hand. She squeezed my hand. She could hear my voice. You know that Razi and I, we talk about all the time, that closure. And that closure made all the difference. Because my goal was, I was mentally drained. So I left. And by the time I made it to my mom's house in 8, it was probably 11:30, almost midnight. And I said I was going to wake up about 7:30, 8 o'clock and go over there and spend some more time with her. And my brother woke me up about 7 o'clock that morning and said she had already passed. So, the good thing is I did get to see her one last time, hug, kiss, and all that stuff. And so my heart goes out to the rest of my family. You know, they called her Big Nana. Everybody that wasn't a grandchild called her, everybody called her Honey, but the rest of the family called her Big Nana. She was one of the older ones. She was 85 years old. And so I'll be back in Mobile this weekend to celebrate her homegoing service Friday. But just wanted to give a moment of silence to my grandmother, she was my last living grandparent. So, and I would say she was, what also hit me, I think I was telling you, Razi, is she was she was the single most consistent thing about Mobile for me. Everything in Mobile changed. People grew up, people moved, you know, but that house on Somerville Street, from my earliest memories, before I moved to Dallas, when I moved back, when I went off to college, you know, my mom moved, everybody moved. That house and her. She was the exact same person when I would come and visit her for the summer to the, you know, last time I saw her in November prior to this, you know, that house was one consistent thing. So it's one of those memories that will always be there, but no more memories with her being there. So that chapter of my life has officially closed, and recognizing that was big for me as well. So I'm gonna have a moment of silence and then we're gonna close it out. All right, love you, Grandma. 3 brothers, no sense. 6 rules of podcast: listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. Talk to you next week.